tragedy on the track that has race fans and drivers in mourning.
We lost a good friend. I think everybody in the IndyCar series considered Dan a friend.
More than 1,000 government workers in one state living in poverty.
That we are paying this large group, nearly 1,000 people, not enough money to feed their families.
And trick or treat, forget Butterfingers. Some kids are getting Bibles when they ring the bell. And a cat euthanized twice, then frozen, and still alive. Your Independent News Network starts right now. Good evening, everyone. I'm Mike Mickle. Welcome to INN News. Race fans and drivers are mourning the loss of Dan Wheldon. The 33-year-old Indy driver died after a fiery 15-car crash yesterday in Las Vegas. Wheldon, a two-time Indy 500 winner, was flown from the track following the crash and later died at the hospital. He was in line to win $5 million if he captured the checkered flag at yesterday's race.
I've got to think about Dan as the way he lived. It's certainly very difficult for everyone in the community.
We lost a good friend. I think everybody in the IndyCar series considered Dan a friend.
He wasn't just a great driver, but he was a great human being. And I just can't believe that he's no longer with us.
Wheldon leaves behind his wife and two small sons. He scaled back his racing this season to spend more time with them. 3 other drivers were taken to the hospital, but they're going to be okay. Yesterday's race was canceled. A professional off-road racing champion was killed in a small plane crash over the weekend. Rick Huseman and his brother were among the 4 killed in the crash yesterday near Barstow in Southern California. Bangkok is preparing for the worst as runoff from record floodwaters threaten to swamp the Thai capital. Sandbags and barriers hastily put into place in front of homes and businesses are holding so far. The flooding, Thailand's worst in a half-century, has been devastating. Close to 300 people have died. Crews in Bangkok are working around the clock to try to protect that city. After weeks of waiting, an American researcher who suffered a suspected stroke while working at the South Pole has arrived in New Zealand for evaluation and treatment. 58-year-old Renee Ducier from New Hampshire fell ill August 27th. She was unable to leave due to bad weather, and doctors treated her there, but they didn't have the technology needed to treat strokes. Ducier is now undergoing tests. This man is being hailed as the world's oldest marathoner. 100-year-old Balja Singh completed a marathon along Toronto's waterfront yesterday. Guinness is expected to name him the oldest person to do a marathon. The previous record was set by a 98-year-old man in 1976. It took Singh, a British citizen originally from India, more than 8 hours to finish his 26.2-mile run. This is his 8th marathon, and that's your global news now. Another listeria scare to tell you about, this time involving lettuce. A company out of Salinas, California is voluntarily recalling its shredded iceberg lettuce sold at Giant Eagle stores. It could be contaminated with listeria. The bags are stamped with a use-by date of October 14th. No illness has been reported so far. Nearly 1,000 state workers in Tennessee rely on welfare to put food on their tables. Advocates say the reason is simple. They just aren't making enough money. Tim Wetzel examines the numbers.
Food stamps may now have the ease of a credit card, but there's still a stigma. And we found out an embarrassing figure for Tennessee. 964 state employees from district offices like this one all the way to the Tennessee Tower are on food stamps.
We were floored by the number of people.
Robert O'Connell with the State Employee Association says some government workers here make so little they have no other choice but to go on welfare.
I don't think Tennesseans are going to be proud of the fact that we are paying this large group, nearly 1,000 people, not enough money to feed their families.
His group fired off a letter to the governor demanding the state pay more, saying part of the problem is that state salaries haven't kept up with the cost of living. And it might be a bit ironic, the same agency that hands out food stamps, the Department of Human Services, has the most employees on food stamps. DHS has the most employees in the state, and 228 of them are on food stamps. The Corrections Department is next with 191 employees on public aid, followed by the Department of Environment and Conservation, where 129 workers are on welfare.
You won't have your pothole patched. You won't have the drunk driver stopped by the state highway patrolman. You won't have the DHS worker going out in the middle of the night and saving some child from a precarious situation. You won't have the dedicated people in those positions that you need if you don't pay them enough.
The State Employee Association believes there are a lot more state workers who qualify for food stamps and probably need them, but don't want to sign up for government help. A Christian group promoting a faith-based alternative to Halloween. It's called Jesusween. Jesusween.com says Halloween is a day to celebrate ungodly images and evil characters. So the group is asking Christians to dress in white and hand out Bibles and other Christian gifts instead of candy. It also asks people to knock on doors and share the message of Christianity instead of asking for candy. The head of the Department of Religion at Texas Christian University gave her take on Jesusween and Halloween.
For many Christians, that is the primary point, that you spread the word. And so I think you take whatever opportunity you've got. I don't think Christians need to feel guilty about putting their kids in costumes and sending them out to shake down the neighbors for candy bars.
The professor notes that like many American holidays, Halloween has pagan and Christian roots. She says Halloween means All Hallows Eve, the day before All Saints Day. Officials are now trying to find out who hacked the Sesame Street YouTube page with porn. It was shut down yesterday, but not before many saw the site. A message posted on the page before its removal claimed responsibility in the names of 2 other YouTube users, one of whom denied responsibility in a statement on his own page. Coming up next, there are text messages you actually want to get. Why cell phone companies will start trying to save you some money. One thing you won't save money on, coffee. What's happened now that will raise prices yet again, and why having bucks can really be bad for your marriage. Also, a cat put to sleep twice but still alive. These stories and much more still to come on INN. And we want to remind you INN News is on Facebook. You can also find us on Twitter at INN News Network. And we're on YouTube. We're reaching out to you so you can reach out to us. INN News will be right back.